friends, welcome back to my channel, and in today's video we are going to be doing something fun that I saw Meg with Books do over on her channel, and that is basically auditing all of the books that she gives 5 stars, trying to see common tropes, common threads throughout them, and trying to pick books that have those threads that she thinks will be 5 stars. She also did this with like books that she rated lowly. I might do that eventually, but at the moment it's just the 5-star ones. So I have my Goodreads pulled up right here in front of me. I just did it from 2020 because I've had Goodreads since like 2011 and I just didn't ever use it. And then when I started my booktube channel, that's when I like really started using it. So I have 2020, 2021 and 2022 up here, and I'm gonna focus mostly on romance. So especially in 2020 I was doing like a mix of a lot of different stuff. Now I would say I read predominantly romance. Most of my 5 stars are from romance, so that's kind of what I'll be focusing on. So starting off in 2020, here are the things that I have given 5 stars. So first up we have Birthday Girl, which is probably one of my favorite romances of all time. And I think the thing that I love about Birthday Girl so much is that it is really about 2 characters that are just like soulmates. They're meant to be. They feel like a soulmate relationship that transcends the differences in their relationship, or transcends their differences in their lives. So like soulmates is definitely a thing that I look for, very much like go deep. This is one of my favorite novellas of all time. Rosie Adams does such a good job of establishing those puzzle piece romances in a really short time. And so I would say that, and The Kiss Quotient has a very similar feeling to that. The Unrequited, again, has a very similar feeling. This is basically a more toxic version of like being exactly what someone needs. So that is a very heavy theme that tracks like through all the years. So those are kind of like the noteworthy 5-star romances from that year. The rest weren't really romances. I mean, I have this novella right here, but I just liked this because it was fun, it was sexy, and it had some strong like finding yourself energy. So then we will go into 2021. This is so we up here, the first 5-star we have is Deeper. This is the prologue, the epilogue novella to Go Deep, and I absolutely loved it. We then have Love Scammed and Treble and Surrender, all by Rosie Adams. Again, she just creates these like puzzle piece romances that just make so much sense. We also have Will You Be Mine, which is absolutely one of my favorite novellas. We have we also have Rush, which, I mean, I could gush about Rush if I wanted to, but this is basically another puzzle piece romance, very exploratory, very soft and loving. This year I had a lot of 5 stars. We have Love Her or Lose Her, which is a second chance about people exploring their past and learning how to talk to each other. That's something that I often love reading about. I love romances that are either coming back together or just starting, where they are very communicative with each other and they are trying to figure out what each other needs in a relationship, particularly around trauma and things like that. We have Her Soul to Take. So I would say a 5-star romance for me is either deeply emotional, deeply exploratory, and all of those things, or it's just like fun and dark and a good gritty time. So like Her Soul to Take is like that. First Comes Blood, we have The Air, we have Run Posey Run, we have There Are No Saints and There Is No Devil. Like, all of them are just really, really fun, gritty, dark romances that are just like so immersive. I love horror romance, I love dark romance, so these are just like dark and I love it. We then have some of my favorite all-time historical romances. We have Wicked Intentions, which again is another exploratory emotional romance. And then my all-time favorite well, that's debatable now, but at the point that I read it, this is my all-time favorite historical romance, Devil in Spring. And this is about a woman who is not like other girls. Like, she is deeply against anything that society deems a woman should do, and Sebastian is just so enamored with her, so willing to give her anything that she wants, and the communication and the agency that their relationship has is beautiful. So again, another exploratory romance. And then we have 2022. So first up we have The Bully. This is probably my favorite book in the Kingmaker series. This is another exploratory romance. It is a villain arc, villain redemption arc about the villain of the story and his relationship with a woman who goes from very antagonistic, and they grow individually and in their relationship. And then of course we have Dark Notes, which again is about a couple overcoming their trauma and working through that in a sexual relationship together and separate. We have the remainder of the Promised in Blood series, which is just again very fun, very dark, very gritty. And then we get into the Kennedy Ryans that I read. So Grip, it is a trilogy. It is a long-spanning relationship. It starts off as sort of a new budding romance, and then they sort of become friends with a lot of mutual pining, and then the last book in the series follows their marriage and the traumas and things that they endure during their marriage, and they have to work through together. It is so beautiful. I think I cried for like 85% of the last book, and it's 100% that 100% fits in like the deeply emotional, working through things together romances that I look for. And then of course we have Long Shot, which is about a woman who, I don't know why it's not looking up, a woman who is in an abusive relationship, again, working through trauma together. This one is much less about them as a couple and more about them separate. And then of course we have Sea of Ruin, another trauma exploration, people working together in a communicative relationship. We have How to Love a Duke in 10 Days, another very emotional, deep, traumatic romance about people working through those things together. We have The Companion, which is just very soft. It's another exploration of relationship dynamics and finding a safe space. We have The Highwayman, again, another exploration, deeply emotional. And then we of course have Brazen and the Beast. The other book should be up here as well. This is the moral of the story is I like really emotional romances. And then of course we have the one-offs. We have Something Fabulous, which is just very fun. We have The Protege, kind of another exploration of dynamics, kind of like Rush. The Words, I did not expect to love this as much as I did. It is a long-spanning thing where they have to work through a lot of stuff individually. We have Carnal Urges, which is just lovely. This is the quintessential story of a guy loving a hard-headed woman and, you know, taking her as she is. I, of course, reread Rush this year. We have Maybe Next Time, which is another taking a woman as she is and loving her, and the hero is just so swoony. So, yeah, I just have some, like, I either really like some dark and gritty romances, a la Her Soul for Revenge, the Promised in Blood series, or I like deeply emotional books where the hero and the heroine or multiple partners are having to work through intense emotional trauma or emotional turmoil together and separate. I love me some angst. That is like my shit. And I kind of already knew this about myself, and so I tend to look for the more like deeply angsty and emotional, but it's hard to find ones that are like rooted in the issues that I'm looking for, I guess. So this is not necessarily like representative of all of the romances that I like, because I I do like a good bully. I like some like fun, angsty times, but I don't tend to give them 5 stars. They tend to be in the 4 stars. So we have like Start a Fire, which is a bully romance that I absolutely love. Touch of a Villain, which is a bully romance I absolutely love. Things like that. Still Beating, which was good. Things like that are angsty and all of that I don't necessarily, that don't hit the spot completely, but they have elements that I love. So I would say like my goal for the next year for my reading is just to find books like The Highwaymen, where they are exploring, or Sea of Ruin, where they are exploring these deeply emotional issues, things that they have to work through in their past, and they're learning how to communicate with each other and how their relationship should look and what it's going to look like, and all of that. I love scarred characters, I love angst, I love all of that kind of stuff. So if you have some recommendations like that, I would definitely love to hear them down below. I think the genre that I find this most in is like historical romance. This is often something that is explored, especially with heroes. But if you have any recommendations across any subgenre, I would love to hear it. If you don't have anything to say or any recommendations to leave me a C-related emoji down in the comments. If you are looking for more content from me, make sure you check out my Instagram or my podcast Instagram. You can also check out my podcast on all your favorite streaming platforms. It is a horror podcast. It's a lot of fun. Don't forget to subscribe if you are looking for romance content. And thank you so much for watching. I will catch you guys in my next one.